Hey guys, Adam here with another Xeno Alice video. Today, we will be covering some basic tips that I've learned so far, and after playing the game for a couple of days, I'm gonna keep this short per each point. So if you are interested in any tips mentioned but in detail, let me know in the comments below. I realized that I gathered so much information in this video that I should just stop and continue another time for another video, since I'm discovering and learning new tips for you guys every day. But I just want to get it out as soon as possible. I should have just stopped and upload this yesterday, but anyway, today I'm gonna do it and upload as soon as I finish editing this. Royal User Service, this is a really good service to be subscribing to, and it's not really expensive. Okay, with that said, let's start the video with the first point. What is the meaning of Xeno Alice? Okay, logically speaking, it means Alice's sin. O in Japanese usually refers to of someone something, so it should mean sin of Alice. But in an interview, Yoko Taro actually said the inspiration was from Godzilla, which is kind of totally random and probably nobody understand why, you know, Yoko Taro being Yoko Taro. So well, unless a big brain would explain to us, then no, it's just probably gonna be a mystery. Number 2, is this game free to play friendly? In short, the answer is yes. Competitively though, obviously not. I mean, almost every gacha game out there is a whales territory only. So if you're dreaming of becoming a top PvP in the Colosseum, then it's probably not gonna happen. Well, unless you spend a ton of money, which is, you know, willing. So with that being said, they actually have paid only stuff like paid jobs, paid nightmare, but in the grand scheme of things, those things are for min-maxing, which are gonna be relevant for whales only. And to be honest, even if those things didn't exist, whales are still gonna dominate the Colosseum with dupes and whatnot. You know, the usual stuff in gacha games. Moving on, number 3, gems, known as Twilight Crystals in this game. So how many gems a month? From what I've gathered so far, I could obviously be wrong on this. On average in JP, players get about 3 to 4,000 gems, which is equivalent to 10 pulls a month. Someone on Discord even say that if you are really hardcore at farming everything, probably not on launch, maybe later on in the game, and really everything, you can get up to 7,000 gems, which converts to 23 pulls a month, which is pretty insane. But right now, I only have 2,600 gems. I have not touched the gacha at all. Number 4, should I reroll? I mentioned this in my reroll video. It's a gacha game. Reroll to your heart's content. Though it's not satisfying to reroll in global from my experience so far. They removed nightmares in the starting pool and only a total of 5 jobs in this pool. So what to reroll for? In short, either roll for 2 jobs you are interested in. If you are DPS, then roll for Cinderella. She has a breaker job. That is the only DPS job in the gacha pool so far. And then roll for any other job, which is fine because the other job is gonna be support. You're gonna use some of the stats but not all. Or you can go with Cinderella and another SR blade weapon to go with her. Since Cinderella is using blade, so it makes sense to use a blade item. Or if you want, you can just roll for any DPS weapon. It doesn't really matter in the long run actually, because you're gonna replace those weapons in a couple of weeks, in a couple of months. And there are 3 types of support, mainly buffer, aka minstrels, debuffers, aka sorcerer, and healers, aka cleric. Okay, reroll is simple. As mentioned in the reroll guide, reroll is simple. Click reroll, done. If you want more on reroll, I have a reroll guide, link in the description below. Link in the description below. I really hate saying this. Okay, number 5, tier list. There is no tier list, guys. There is no tier list. I know it sounds impossible because even my friend said that. How can a game have no tier list? But it's just true in this game. The game is so balanced. I don't know how they did it, except for Mage or Orc, which I'm not gonna go into details, except it's not getting a certain buff during PvP, aka the Colosseum. So if you're into PvP, which you should be, then Mage is definitely not for you. But if you're playing the game only for PvP or story, Mage is definitely fine. It's actually a really good job in a PvE aspect. Okay, speaking of Colosseum, point number 6. Colosseum. Okay, this is really important. The Colosseum is in real time, allocated by the server and a guild leader. So they have a number of slots that your guild leader can choose. I think there's like 8 slots so far, so you can actually pick and choose what time slot. So join a server, Asia or US, based on the time you are actively playing. So if you're closer to Asia, probably should pick Asia, you know, like a simple pick. Or if for some reason you're like me, you wake up at night and sleep in the day, then probably US might be better for you, I don't know. So do your own research which server to actually pick. Colosseum is really important because it gives you a bunch of rewards. Even in your dailies, they require you to do some PvP, which is guild versus guild, and also the tutorial missions, which I will cover that later on. But even if you're not big in PvP, some of the dailies missions require you to do so. So try your best to get into a guild. Even if it's not competitive, do it for the missions. You might want to search for casual guilds that you can actually participate in. I might do a more detailed guide on Colo since it's such an important topic for this game, if not the most important thing in this game so far. And moving forward, number 7, dailies. Okay, dailies is actually right here in the mission. Okay, I actually completed it, but in short, the dailies give you 10 gems in total, 2 from purification, which is this thing right here. Okay, purification. I'm gonna talk about this in a while as well. And then you get 2 gems from doing 5 stories a day, which is right here. It's 5 stories. Only completed this so far. I try to do as much as possible. I'm trying to rush the story, you know, for my Let's Play. And then you get 2 from co-op battle, which is right here. So if you join your friends or guild members each day, you are up to 3 for free-to-play, 5 for royal user service members. So the friend medals can be exchanged for a number of things, especially, very importantly, 1 friend medal you can exchange daily for 5 gems, which is really worth it. And then you get 4 gems from doing Colo, so join guild. Search for guild, search for some guild that, you know, even if it's just 1 person is fine. Unless you are looking into competitive, then maybe look into Discord, or I don't know, just drop us a message or something on Discord. Okay, so 10 gems so far, with 5 being the friend medals and also 5 gems for logging in. So a total of 20 gems a day you get from this game, aside from all the events and other stuff. So about every 3 days you can do 2 pulls, or so you can just save 15 days for 10 plus 1 pulls. So just by clearing dailies, you can actually do 2 multis a month on top of a bunch of other gems from events and stuff. So I would say they are actually pretty free to play friendly in that aspect, as they're pretty generous with the resources. Okay, number 8. Do the Rookie's Path, aka tutorial missions. I'm at 17 over 18 right now. I'm actually waiting to do the next Colo, which is tomorrow, to complete 3 times. So remember to join a guild and participate in Colo to complete this at least. You know, at least before you quit the guild, you can actually complete this mission. Okay, point number 9. This is really important because before rank 20, purification is actually free. You can just whack anytime, but you should not do that because of reasons. So right now, I'm rank 34 and my purification takes 8 hours to recharge unless I subscribe for the royal user service, which I'm actually considering because of the value they give. So I made this beginner's mistake so I can warn you guys, you know, the new players. If you just started out before rank 20, listen to this. If you are past 20, okay, you can just skip this section to the next one. Okay, so try your best not to use the purification until you run out of AP, which is this thing right here. AP, no, not this. Okay, AP, which I believe is called action point. Okay, so what to avoid? Avoid doing story missions because they give a ton of EXP, which makes you level up really quickly. Just for reference, I'm at like chapter 5 right now, and they give like 30 something EXP per stage, and they require only 16 AP, so they actually give double the XP. Whereas if you do events, you get a lot lesser EXP per AP spend. So in the beginning, try to spend your AP on event missions instead. If just nice, there's a gorilla event going on. It comes and go every couple of hours. You have to check the time for it. If those gorilla events are on, farm for weapon or armor materials. Okay, more weapons and less armor in the beginnings. Okay, do those. Otherwise, do the events that give you medals or stock up on evil materials. Okay, so these are the ones that give you medals. Okay, shattered memories. And these are the ones that give you evil materials. As well as this is for armor and this is weapon. Okay, if you need money, feel free to do so. I have like 2 million, so I don't know when I'll run out of this. Just for reference, I'm actually at verse 8 right now. Okay, how come I never do? Maybe I just unlock. Okay, yeah, I just unlocked this. I'm not gonna do this right away. I'm gonna show you something later on, so I need the AP. Okay, so I didn't have the privilege to slow down, you know, and process this as I was trying to rush the story in the beginning to open my guild, which you have to complete chapter 2 verse 10 for any characters, and also experimenting some stuff on the side. But hopefully when you're watching this, you still have time, even though it's been like 2 to 3 days now. So new players are still joining us, like friends asking friends to play this game. Okay, I would do this if I have the chance to restart actually. Okay, point number 10, AP. How long does this recharge? So 1 AP for every 3 minutes. So every 3 minutes you get 1 AP. Simple as that. Purification cooldown, as mentioned before, is 8 hours the moment you enter. It doesn't just keep rotating like that, so keep that in mind. Unless you get the royal service, as I mentioned earlier, I highly recommend it. If you want to spend a small amount of money, this gives you the best value in the game, I believe, as they also give you royal medals, which you can buy a lot of awesome stuff. Okay, the royal medal, you can even buy nightmares. Okay, point 11, character, jobs, and weapons. Honestly, this took me a while before I started playing to understand this, so this is the only point I'm gonna elaborate a bit more in this video. Okay, characters like Alice, Snow White, Red Riding Hood, etc. They can have different job variants like breakers, Crusher, etc. So I'm gonna sort them. You can actually filter. So example, Alice, I only have one. But Snow White, on the other hand, I actually unlock Breaker and also the Cleric. So if you roll in the gacha the Cleric and then you unlock this, it's not wasted because I'm gonna explain it in a while. So these characters can have different job variants, okay? As you can see, I showed you Snow White, which has the Breaker and Cleric job. For Red Riding Hood, I have the Crusher and Sorcerer. And then of course different characters can have the same type of jobs, which is like example Blade right here. I have 4 characters with the Blade job. It's Cinderella, Alice, Snow White, and Gretel. So what makes the different jobs? Okay, different jobs can equip different weapons. Okay, namely DPS, like Breakers, they can equip DPS weapons but not support weapons. So I'm gonna show you right here. Okay, so these are DPS weapons. Okay, swords, lance, hammer, and projectiles, which I don't actually have it now, but they can actually equip other stuff. So things like orbs are actually equipped for support characters, which is the mage, and vice versa. So support characters cannot actually equip DPS weapons as well. So support jobs like minstrels, sorcerers, and clerics can only equip support weapons, okay, and mage, and not DPS weapons. Also, preferably if the job on your character is a breaker, then try to give as much blade weapons to them to maximize damage, because they have buffs for that. Okay, I'm gonna quickly show you what I mean by that. So for example, I'm gonna focus on breaker. So it says blade plus 30% Cinderella stage. So this is only for Cinderella. But level 2 onwards, things like blade 10%. This is universal. So any characters with the blade class or with the blade job will benefit from this. And P attack, P defense is gonna benefit everyone. Any jobs and any characters that you want to play. These are account-wide stats that is given to the character. So for example, I already unlocked all these. So let's say I want to pick a class that I have not touched. Okay, so example, Cleric. Okay, so right off the bat, she has 700 points because P attack 400, P defense 200, and M attack 100. This is actually from the passive gain from upgrading the classes. Okay, you can see right here. I don't even know why. Wait, why did I? Okay, so I don't even know why I upgraded the M attack, but in the long run it doesn't matter because you're gonna need them anyway. But in the beginning, it's really important to prioritize the different classes, and it requires higher and higher mastery to actually level them up. See right here. So level 5, I need 1650. Level 6 onwards, I need 2750 to actually level up, okay, which is all there. So my advice to you is level them evenly according to what you need. If you are still confused, I can make a guide on that, you know, in detail. Anyway, you can have as many jobs as possible because they give you extra stats to all your other characters, not just one character. Also, one thing to note is one character have a multiple of the same job, which is confusing, I know. But you can probably experience this if you wrote for Cleric Snow White and then you unlock the Snow White Cleric in the story. So you have 2 Snow White Cleric. So that's actually the best case scenario because they actually stacks a lot. So things like Staff plus 10% Snow White, all these will stack. So all these, level 5, all these will stack for Snow White, which is awesome. And speaking of all these stats, next we're gonna talk about upgrading weapons, armor, nightmare, and classes. Okay, so in the beginning, they give you a bunch of leveling materials, so don't be afraid to use them, but keep in mind that you try to level them evenly also, because lower level requires lesser materials and give you a lot more stats comparing to higher level, which require more materials and give you less stats. Comparing material and stats gain, and try to level them if it benefits you. So for example, the orb doesn't benefit me as much right now. I want to, you know, focus on all the DPS weapons, especially the SRs and the S weapons. So you got to see which one will benefit you more. So for example, I use mostly swords. So I try to level up my swords more than the rest of the weapons. And then followed by hammer because it's also physical, but it's AoE. Then after that, you can work on your magical weapons, etc. So later on in the game, I have like a ton of weapons, you know, at my disposal. I'm gonna main sword or the breaker job. Then I want to get as many swords I can and also get as much stats that benefit sword as possible. So in the class, in the beginning, you have no choice. You don't just use whatever weapons the game actually gives you until you play enough to gather enough weapons to start curating your gear. In the future, you can have like a fire sword set, water sword set, and even wind set, you know, 3 types of sets. If you guys are interested as well, I may do an equipment or gear guide in the future. Okay, this video is getting a bit long. And finally, I'm gonna briefly talk about mastery points. Okay, so how to get mastery points? You actually have to go to... Okay, actually I wanted to show you example, but I'm running out of time. So basically, if you do manual, you can just... Even if you just spam the first skill versus the auto, you're gonna get a lot more mastery points than if you do auto. In one example, I got like 70-ish mastery points versus 200 plus mastery points when I manual click it. That's like higher stage. So especially the higher difficulty stage, your enemies don't die so quickly, so you get to actually spam more weapons, which give you the mastery points. Okay, it might sound confusing, but the cost is also the thing that gives you mastery points. So this is the way to do it. If you never use the weapons, they give you the mastery points. So if you manual it, you get more points. Okay, next, number 13. I want to talk about starter pack. Okay, this is actually in the shop and has been discussed a couple of times. Okay, so if you are Vanguard, feel free to purchase the Vanguard weapons if you want to be DPS, or if you want to be a support character, buy the Rearguard weapons. Just one is enough. Don't buy both unless for some reason you can, you know, be jack of all trades, which I highly do not recommend. Specialize in one. So I want to play Vanguard, even though I'm free to play. I'm gonna get this, just one set. Multiple, you can actually limit break them, but I would recommend that you only spend 150 crystals to buy one pack. Okay, so for example, right now I'm 25,000. So I just bought the pack, right? So I'm just gonna hit recommend, strongest. Okay, and then my sub gear recommend. Okay, it's just a little bit boost, but if I upgrade the weapons, which actually save up some. Okay, wait, you actually have to collect it in the inbox. I'm sorry guys, it is all win items. So those are the gear that they gave. I'm gonna restart this, remove everything. Okay, so after I buy that, I equip right away, boom, extra, I don't know what, 2,000 points. Oh, okay, 27,000. So just buying the set, I increased around 1,800 points. That is before I even upgrade the gear. So I'm gonna upgrade a little bit to see how far I can go. So this is the one, which is the lens, ASR. Okay, right now it's a 354 magic attack. But it is a lens, which is actually a AoE magic weapon. Okay, I'm gonna level 1. Okay, so you're gonna hit 900 right now. Okay, which will give you stats to your magic attack. And then there's more weapons, which is actually S class. You can actually upgrade this as well. Okay, I'm gonna equip the hammer because I want to focus more on physical. Okay, trading is just nice. Okay, that's roughly all I got. So let's see how much increment that I have. Okay, so right now I'm 28,000. I'm gonna do that for my main character. Okay, so 28.8 thousand. Before that I was like 25,000. A significant boost to your points. Okay, I'm gonna talk briefly about nightmares as well. Okay, nightmares are actually like summons in other games which you can actually cast during the battle. You can also see them as equipments or weapons. They actually give you some buffs and things like that. So the free ones are actually from stories, events, and raids. Okay, also in the strength in their orders. Events are better than story and raids are better than events one. And then followed by Gacha Nightmare, which most likely you won't be able to get it unless you lucked out or you spend some money. And then there's also paid nightmares, which are included in a certain bundle. So the main difference between the free ones and the paid and gacha ones are the SP cost. So the paid and gacha ones is free to cast. The SP is free. So SP are used in combat to use your weapons or your nightmares. So free ones, they cost 50 SP, but the gacha and paid ones, they are free to cast. So the effects are pretty similar, except, you know, the costing, which can be huge in Colosseum. Finally, I just want to wrap this ASAP because the video is taking too long. Okay, so if you go to your menu settings, okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is go to options. Yeah, I actually have this off. Wait, sound effects on. Okay, so number 1, energy settings. If you turn this from normal to high quality, the main difference is gonna be frames per second. This is 30 frames, this is 60 frames. Set, boom, done. Okay, just look at this. When I click normal, I exit, it becomes 24 frames per second. It is supposed to be 30 frames per second. But if I on this, boom, 60 frames per second. Simple as that. I'm just gonna turn this off right now. And then the next important thing is this thing. Just turn it on, guys. Automatically sell sacks. This is the gold sacks that you farm for, or if the game gives you. So if you click this, they'll just automatically sell it for you. Bam, bam. And then you don't have to worry. This should actually be automatic. I don't even understand why would you go through the hassle to, you know, sell sacks and things like that. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about today is data transfer. Actually more like data backup. So to do data transfer or data backup, do it right here. You can actually link to your Twitter, Facebook, or Google account. Just one is fine. If you're really scared, then you link all 3. So you can set a password and this is your ID, and then you can do a transfer to your devices. This provided you actually key the password here, and then you can do a data transfer and you can do a backup. So anyway, that's it for today. I dragged long enough. I feel like even though it might seem like a simple game, there's a lot of things we still don't understand because it's such a new game for us global players. It's out 3 years ago in JP, but you know, for us global players, this is a new game. So we do not fully understand the game yet. In the meantime, I'm gonna compile more info and make another video explaining even more stuff in a couple of videos. In the meantime, be sure to subscribe, like this video, comment below what extra tips you learned about in the comments below, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.